Homicidal clothes cause I'm dressed to kill. Leave 6 bitches oohing cause I'm worth a mill. Flow is ill, spitting no vomit spill. Killing them softly but I ain't Lauren. What is up, my people? Welcome to another episode of the Townie Sports Podcast. I am one of your 2 tremendous hosts this evening. As always, I'm Sammy, and I'm alongside Vic. Vic, how you doing, bro?
Doing wonderful, Sammy. Happy to be here. Happy to be on almost the eve of the U.S.'s first knockout game in 8 years.
And of course, we wouldn't have a tremendous podcast without our homie from one half of the Fairweather podcast, our boy A-Rod. A-Rod, thank you for joining us today. And how you been, bro?
Always a pleasure. Doing good. A lot of sports to watch, so always glad to talk sports with you guys every time.
So obviously the big deal we're going to talk about today is the World Cup. But before we get into that, because we do have a game going on in about 15 to 20 minutes, we're just going to touch on that. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. I believe the line right now is the Bills +4 or -4, and the over-under is around 43.5. Obviously, us being Patriots fans. Vic, how are you feeling about this game today?
I wonder why that line's so small. I think it
Short
should be
week.
bigger. Maybe.
Both these teams played last Thursday too, so think about it.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it's true. So I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go Homer here and go Pats plus. I'm gonna take Pats money line actually.
Money line. I was going to take the 4 points. I could see this being a close game because it is obviously a rivalry game. There's a lot at stake here. Patriots obviously coming off big wins. Lost to the Vikings, but I mean division wins. But and there's still that thing in the back of their head about last year and wanting to prove that potentially that wasn't a fluke. So A-Rod, you're on the other side of the coin. What are you looking at here?
Hope both cars get in a fiery crash for the entire team. I need my Jets to keep going up that ladder like the Price is Right guy. Going up the mountain, man. I'm actually rooting for the Patriots here, man. And if it were me, I'd take the 4. I do the same as you.
Yeah. That interesting 43.5. So Vic, you think that's a little low?
I think that's high.
Oh.
You think that's gonna go over 44? I think if the Pats are to win this game, it's gonna be under 44. It's gonna have an under 44. So for my money line to be right, my over/under needs to be under 44.
Makes
so
sense.
I'm gonna go under.
Makes sense.
I would say under 2, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Anything else you want to get to on that game, Vic, or A-Rod? Touch on main topics, anything, storylines? Obviously,
No, go Pats.
Go Pats. Obviously, there's so much other stuff on our mind. Obviously, the 3 of us are in a group chat. We've been just texting each other for the last 2 weeks. Obviously, all about the World Cup, driving A-Rod probably absolutely insane.
I'm good.
But let's. I want to get into USMNT, and I know we're gonna let Vic kind of have his time to shine. But first, obviously, before we get there, we got to. I kind of want to go group by group. Obviously, we have most teams already through. I think tomorrow we have our last 2 groups to go.
So much better.
So Group A, obviously something Vic chose and picked correct. I was a little higher on Ecuador. Vic was higher on Senegal. I thought Senegal would struggle without Sadio Mane, but they still look strong. Ecuador, kudos to them. They did also play extremely well, showed a lot of people what they can do. Young core, young team there. So obviously Qatar showed that they are host and shouldn't be in the World Cup at all. But Vic, you're going to have a lot of time to shine today. Good choices on Netherlands and Senegal for this group.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew that this was a group that would be in flux. I know you liked Ecuador. I like Senegal. I'm surprised that they got it together as well as they did, to be honest with you, because now they actually look like a cohesive unit without Mane. It looked like they were taking some time to figure out if, who would be the guy that steps up for Mane, who would fill in that spot, and I think a few people have done it. I think Pape Sarr from Tottenham has really stepped up in that spot. And I have a question: Is Ismaila Sarr on that team? Is that his brother?
No, they're not related, I believe.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How do they have the same last name?
Because I think it's a common name in Senegal.
Oh wow! Hey.
Yeah.
Well,
Like Williams.
Like
But
Muhammad.
Anyway, I think they've got their guy in Sarr who's going to step up and be that take that Mane role. I don't know, Sammy. What do you think? What do you like about this Senegalese team without Sadio Mane? Who's your guy that stepped up here?
I think Idrissa Gana Gueye, somebody that I mentioned a lot. I think he's really the cog that makes that that whole thing go. He's that center midfielder, box to box guy. Obviously, just has a lot of pace, or not so much a lot of pace, but he has a lot of wins, so he can play extensive minutes and just stay centrally in that Senegalese midfield and kind of push the ball around and keep possession well. Obviously, play for PSG.
And I meant the other Sarr, by the way. I said the wrong Sarr. I meant
Ismaila
Sarr.
Sarr, yeah. But Papa Sarr hasn't played much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
I knew one of the Sarrs. I saw Sarr. I was like,
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
So, and you see a lot of chances that Idrissa Gana Gueye brings up for Senegal. Obviously, he's a key component to their style of play. So he's been extremely, extremely good. He was kind of one of the players that I mentioned in our podcast when we previewed. I said he's a player to watch out for. Obviously, and Ismaila Sarr, who's playing extremely well. But I think you nailed it on the head, Vic. Senegal just shows that now that they understand that they don't have their superstar, they have to play as a cohesive unit. They were a cohesive unit before, but I thought maybe, they didn't have enough weapons against, Ecuador and Netherlands. But A-Rod, what did you think of this group with Senegal and Netherlands, taking the lead there?
I think all right, so both teams that advance, I would have picked Netherlands definitely to win the pool A for sure. And then everything else is kind of a toss up to me. Qatar, I get it, you're the home country, you're there, whatever. They were pretty bad. Sick jerseys, but pretty bad. But Senegal and who's the other one? What's my finger now? Ecuador. Yeah, I would have thought Ecuador would have been able to pull through. But we talk about it in the chat. African teams are always sneaky, man. Somebody comes through, and you don't have Nigeria representing this year, and you don't have the Ivory Coast, or you don't have Egypt either. So somebody's got to come up big, and we may have 4 countries from Africa representing the World Cup in the next tomorrow probably. We've got 2 already through, so it's crazy to see. But yeah, with what's the guys? I can't think of that. I got a brain fart once again. The guy from Liverpool who's not playing.
Oh, Mane.
Mane, yeah. Well, Mane not playing. That's like a big loss for Senegal. But obviously the team stepped up. They look good. They look cohesive. And for a team that I thought would probably get knocked out, I would have definitely picked Ecuador. But Sarr is playing really freaking good, and that's all you need and that's what you see. That's what I love about the World Cup is you see players stand out, and then clubs start paying attention to this, and then you start seeing them trying to pull away from the clubs that they're in now. So
yeah, and I did look up. So Sarr looks like is currently playing in Watford. I wouldn't be surprised of a move. Who's the other? Sammy, you said Calvin Galley, was that the guy?
Gana Gueye. Idrissa. Gueye is the midfielder.
The name sounds so familiar. I feel like I feel like
PSG.
Oh, he plays for PSG. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I said Calvin Galley, I didn't know that he plays for fucking France, even though not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great point, A-Rod, when you talked about African teams. Sammy loves overrating CONMEBOL. CONMEBOL.
And CAF. Don't get it.
No, you never rate CAF. You always, all these CONMEBOL teams, they're so good. South American teams are overrated, just like European teams. And I think we're seeing a real resurgence in honestly in world football here with the emergence of not only African teams but Asian teams. You look at Japan and South Korea. South Korea's on the cusp. They could make it. Not too sure, but they could make it. They have a chance. Japan making it, Australia making it. So, these are some big strides. A lot of European teams are falling. So we're seeing a change in world football here that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, and moving right along, Vic, this is your time to shine. Group B, England, obviously, somebody that everybody picked to win the group. USA coming in second with 5 points. Iran, 3 points. Wales, womp womp. I mentioned it. I said it. I said Wales is extremely overrated. Very old team. There's a very big drop off from their top players' age and kind of their younger players coming up. Yeah, Vic, your time to shine. Hit us with the USMNT stuff, man. This is your flowers, bro.
I feel like this is all of our time to shine. We've
True.
all been through it.
True.
At this point with the USMNT. I mean, A-Rod, we're always happy to have new blood in the mix. We're happy to have you. But yeah, I think this really comes down to a squad that played well together. Christian Pulisic with the goal yesterday against Iran.
Iran.
Iran. He also could be pronounced eliminated, if you like. But if you look at Pulisic's goal there, a lot of heart to run into that goalie like that and just take it right in the nuts for the USA and the Stars and Stripes. You'd love to see that. Looks like he's going to be back for Saturday's game against the Netherlands. But a few guys stood out to me. So I used to think that the United States' best young up-and-coming player was Giovanni Reina, and it wasn't even close. And I thought Gio had the highest upside. I am seeing a box-to-box midfielder mentality from Yunus Musa that has really impressed me. And, he did some things in the Iran game.
Nasty.
That
nasty.
my eyes went wide.
God.
Weston McKennie, after that Wales game, has had a fantastic tournament. I mean, his pass to set up Dest for the header across the way was just incredible. Dest has been incredible. A lot of people used to knock Serginho Dest defending. He's been a great defender this whole World Cup campaign. So very proud of him there. I got to give big ups to Greg Berhalter, who I've shit on this podcast several times. His starting lineups and first half tactics have been really good. Have been incredible. It's his second half tactics and his substitutions that have been getting us into trouble. And hopefully that's something that we can fix. If you remember, last year during the first part of the season, I hated Ime Udoka, and I was talking about possibly firing him and getting a change. Could the same thing happen with Berhalter, where I just end up falling in love with him and he becomes a good coach and he learns how to right his wrongs? Maybe that would be incredible. But for now, we'll see what happens with Berhalter and what he does.
Always comes down to the Celtics, doesn't it?
Yeah, you gotta love to see his baby.
All roads lead to Boston somehow.
I'm gonna. So this is a guy that I've known about for a while, obviously, but I want you guys to cook on because you have just found out about his greatness, Tyler Adams. So I want you guys, from an outside fan coming in, you guys are coming in as new USMNT fans, obviously here. Tell me what is it like to watch him play? Who does he remind you of? What are some comps they may have?
Hey, Rod, you want to take that?
I mean, I'll give you your props, man. You've been saying, even on my podcast when you jump on, and every time I jump on, you preach about these kids from Leeds, and they're the truth, man. And Tyler Adams is the captain for a reason. They gave him the captain role because they know he's the real deal. Yep. And I know everybody knows Christian Pulisic, and that's like the American pride. And when you turn on the TV, that's the guy that you see that's marketable and advertised because he's over there playing for Chelsea. But dude, this kid has like literally saved our ass. Not more than once, not twice, not three. Like, he's all over the place. He does it all, and he's a great player. He's a great leader. I mean, you saw when he mispronounced Iran the other day. His answer was, stand up answer. Perfect. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a good answer. And I'm proud of him for that. But I think that's the guy that we're not giving enough credit to. And I think shame on America, like sportscasters that pick players to highlight and star all the time, and then you go to Pulisic all the time. Dude, this kid's the real deal. He's definitely the man. Aronson, love the guy too. When he comes in, he's a spark fire. I think he should be starting. He's a really, really good player. Another good kid with good head on his shoulders, and him and Tyler Adams have been playing together for a while too, which is crazy. And then to get reunited in Leeds, which is crazy as well. I like what Berhalter did last game. I think taking out all your MLS players and putting guys that have experience playing against these type of players that obviously have contracts for bigger markets. They're gonna get more exposure, in my opinion. The better exposure you have, the better soccer players. And I'm not trying to shit on the MLS. I just think MLS is just, it is what it is. It'll one day shape up to be something, but we probably won't be alive when that happens.
Yeah,
but
it's a good developmental league. It's starting to become a good developmental league, much like what was it, Brazilian Serie A and stuff like that, where it's the first step for many of these young players, and then they get snatched up by these bigger clubs. So I think that's the ceiling for the MLS, where it becomes that type of feeder system to the big clubs in Europe, where they have these young players, and they're starting to have lots of them come through from Mexico and stuff.
Yeah, it's a feeder system, and it's also a place for you to come to die and get a big paycheck, so you can,
That's true too. Absolutely.
Get the American.
But there's value in that, right? I mean, you got players that can, cultivate this next round. You got these young guys, and then you have these older guys that have played in Europe that have the experience, maybe the connections, and maybe they reach out and say, hey, this kid's pretty good. He shouldn't be playing here. Come get him. So
look at David Beckham, bro. David Beckham is going to be doing some things with Miami. So I'm sick of seeing the LA Galaxy as like the place to go to. Like I'm ready to see Miami be a shining star for players to come to. So I'm excited for that. But the United States team, Dest has been playing great, man. He looks like Juntao out there. Robinson is quick, and he's
rush hour reference.
I love it. Weah's good. I just feel like he's like that kid from the Mighty Ducks that's just too fast for his own good. Like he's always downfield, and like they'll give him the ball, and like he just can't make that pass every time, or he overruns it. But he's down there at least. Like he's getting downfield. Yeah. There's nothing to complain about. Pulisic and dude, the goalkeeper is he's amazing. Everybody's good. I'm happy that we have a goalkeeper that plays in Premier League. That makes me happy to know that he's a backup for Arsenal, and like he gets that exposure every now and then. But like it's good to know.
Arsenal too. So
yeah, exactly.
And he gets all before he got injured, he got all of their Europa League games as well,
right?
And has had multiple shutouts in the Europa League. I just want to throw out there, say before you give us your take on Tyler Adams, Joshua Sargent played a great game.
Oh, that's what I'm also too.
The ginger.
Yes.
Can I say that?
Great hold up play. Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting canceled for ginger. You're good.
No, but you mentioned Tyler Adams, and I've been extremely impressed. And as A-Rod was talking, I was trying to rack my brain, think about players that he reminds me of. And there's really one player that comes to my mind when I think of a true box-to-box midfielder that can defend, that's everywhere, that anticipates where the ball's going to go, and also can feed the attackers properly. Because, you either have one or the other when it comes to a midfield or a center midfielder, right? You either got a guy who's super finesse like Kevin De Bruyne, or, even I can go back like, Juan Roman Riquelme, who just, has finesse and can feed the ball. But they maybe just don't have the anticipation or the energy to have that work rate on the defensive end. And the one that comes to my mind is prime Arturo Vidal. Plays just like that guy. When Chile was at the top of their, was up at the top, man, Arturo Vidal was that rock in the middle, box to box. He got his feet dirty. He had nice skills, fed the ball offensively properly, could score nice goals. I'm sure Tyler Adams could too. Just when given the opportunity. So that's kind of my comp. I mean, it's kind of high praise in a sense, but
yeah.
I mean, that's it. I don't think I'm far off by making that type of comp.
It's one of my favorite players of all time. Him and Sanchez, man, on that Chile team. They were absolutely incredible. I love that. I love to watch that team. Man, if Tyler Adams turns anywhere near Arturo Vidal, I would be happy.
He's already almost there. He's already almost there.
I don't think he has. I think he's more of a deep line playmaker. He doesn't have the same outside shot that Vidal has or had. But if he, comes around and gets that, that'd be amazing. But they do have a famous saying on USMNT Twitter. They say there was a 95. They say 85% of the world is covered by water,
and
the rest is covered by Tyler Adams.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, it's actually true, and I want to tout Aronson because ever since you've started talking to me a lot about USMNT in the last year, I've tuned in, I've watched, and I watched a few Leeds games that you've mentioned, and man, Brendan Aronson has that soccer ball on a string.
Man.
I have not seen a U.S. men's national team player that could play with the ball like that. It is insanity how good this kid is. I really hope he continues to develop properly because when I say like this kid could be like he's nasty, dude. Like I played soccer. I've watched so much soccer. Like soccer's like practically was my life for 15, 16 years. And when I say that dude can freaking play. He can really play.
Yeah, and he attributes his skills to get out of tight spaces to growing up with his three brothers and playing in the basement, a small basement, where they would just dribble around each other and try and score goals. So that adds a lot to it. But you're absolutely right, Sammy. He has that ball on a string every time he's dribbling it. They don't call him the Medford Messi for no reason. That kid can get through some tight spaces for sure.
Yeah. And real quick, obviously we want to touch on England. I mean, what's there to say here other than the fact that, they look really good. I've been impressed with England. The goals have been coming, and I will, on air, A-Rod, now I'm doing this, on my mic in hand, on air. I am apologizing for bashing Marcus Rashford. And I still think he's got more to prove to me, but man, that game against Wales, wow. Those goals, especially that first goal. I mean, I know the keeper was a little out of position, but that shot was disgusting. Top bins, bro. I want to see more. Yeah. I want to see more. I'm happy. I'm happy that this is happening for him.
I still think they're overrated.
I don't know why I'm a big Marcus Rashford fan, but like I've always been, and I think he's a starting caliber player for England. But fresh legs off the bench like that, it's really good for them. So that's a sick person to come right off your bench, and then he has 3 goals in the World Cup right now. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yep. So, I think England is definitely the favorite. But you got to give we're going back to the U.S. once again. You got to give the U.S. credit to holding them to no goals.
Holding them to 0, yeah.
Because they have what? How many goals does England have right now? It's 7, I think?
Yes, they had 7 goals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 9 goals. 9 goals.
Okay, 9 goals. So that's a lot compared to the U.S.'s 2. Mm-hmm. So you gotta give them their credit there. Like they're gonna score. They've got a lot of good scores. They've got a really good team. I would have picked them to win the group. Vic had my dick all hard saying, United States is gonna beat them.
Me too.
And I was like,
we came close. We came very close. We came inches away, in fact.
A McKennie miss.
No, it was Pulisic.
Yes, it wasn't McKennie. No, it was McKennie.
McKennie when he shot it over on a sitter. He had a sitter.
McKennie.
But Pulisic had the stinger.
Yeah.
It hit the crossbar.
He did, but McKennie was wide open, bro. Like
an absolute sitter.
That shit.
Yeah.
Like McKennie, I love the guy. Don't get me wrong, but like to me, he's a headache. I feel like I see him too much, and he's got that open shot, or he's just too afraid to take it, man. I don't know what it is.
That shit for sure.
Huh?
I think he lacks a little bit of confidence. I think he lacks a little bit of confidence, and I think that has to do with the role that he probably plays at Juventus. He's not the top guy on that team. So but I think he has to switch and have some sort of a little bit more of an alpha mentality when he is on this men's national team and be willing to take those shots, have those chances, because he does have the skill set for it.
And that's the thing about this United States team is that you look at this English national team and you can literally just see world-class players. If you turn left and right, you see a world-class player. The United States still lacks a world-class player. They have good players on their team, good players, but not one world-class player. I think that's being developed and maybe coming in time. I think it may be Yunus Musa, who's going to be the first ever world class player for the United States. But I still think that's the one thing we still lack as a program.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's something that I wanted to talk about. And since we're kind of on Group B now, kind of in the middle of everything, one of the big narratives that I've noticed as me being a huge soccer fan is you're noticing, as you mentioned, kind of a changing of the guard, if you will. But I think you're also noticing teams, it's not about superstar power anymore. It's about how cohesive are you playing? Are you playing 11 players, right? I mean, you look at Wales, they didn't play 11 players. You look at Iran, they didn't play 11 players. And I mean that obviously figuratively, but I mean when all 11 players play with each other and when they're all on a level playing field, right? Because if you look at you look at the U.S. men's national team, you can kind of consider them all probably at the same caliber, maybe one slightly above, one slightly below, but they're all about the same caliber. Whereas if you look at other teams, maybe there's like Poland, for example. Yeah, they moved on, but there's such a drop off from Lewandowski to the next best player, right?
100%.
So that's the benefit of having a team like the U.S. men's national team. Maybe even if you talk about Senegal, like if Mane was on that team, that would probably take them over the hump, and they could probably win that group with how even keel that team is. With that being said, I think you're seeing that now, and you're seeing teams, even Australia, which we'll get to, Japan, which we'll get to as well. Cohesive teams, they play as one. All 11 players know their exact role, and it's beautiful, honestly.
100%.
It's beautiful.
100%.
All right. Anything else, Vic, you want to get to on the UN's men's national team before we move on to Group C?
Who do we got next week? So England's got Senegal,
that's
the
right.
United States has the Netherlands.
Correct.
Who do we like?
I actually like the U.S. beating Netherlands in that game. And I also like, I hate picking against them, but I think England's going to beat Senegal.
I agree. I will say, to Linder in the chat, we hate Shaq more.
We absolutely
do.
He's got two left feet.
Yeah. Right now, strange. Foot Mob has Christian Pulisic as doubtful, which I disagree with. I think he's going to play, and Joshua Sargent as doubtful. So I disagree with both of those. I think they're both going to play. Although the Netherlands has not lost in 18 matches, I like the United States to beat the Netherlands at 10 a.m. on Saturday. And, of course, I like England to move forward as well. I think it's going to be a close game with the Netherlands. If you recall, 8 years ago, the United States played Belgium in the knockout round of 16 and came a Wondolowski missed goal away from winning. I think we're going to have a similar matchup here, except this time the U.S. gets the goal that they need and moves on to the quarterfinals.
I've been actually overall unimpressed with Netherlands, and I'll let A-Rod get to his take in a second. I've been actually pretty underwhelmed with how they're playing. I got to give a lot of respect to Cody Gakpo, though, because he has been absolutely incredible. And I think
But his ex goals suck. Blah, 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 blah.
Doesn't matter.
Dude, ex goals are the worst.
Yeah.
If I hear one more person talk about ex goals, I'm going to blow my mind.
You can't do stats like that in soccer. It doesn't work that way.
No.
But you look at the Netherlands, a team that should have kind of ran away. You expected Netherlands in that group to get nine points, right? Like if they beat Senegal, they're supposed to get 9 points, and they couldn't. And then they only put 2 on Qatar. Like I think Ecuador put 2 on Qatar, right? Like that's like, come on, like you're Netherlands, you should be putting 4. You should put a 4-piece on them. Easy. But they don't have a striker. I love Memphis. Memphis has always been one of my favorite players. I don't know if he's 100% though. I think that's his problem right now. I don't know if he's completely healthy.
Bless you.
He looks a little slower. He looks like he's a little bit more hesitant. That's why I'm worried about Netherlands going forward. I mean, the defense is awesome. Virgil van Dijk is great. They are slow, though. And I think that's where the U.S. men's national team can absolutely destroy the Netherlands is speed. I think the U.S. has more speed. And I think that's going to be extremely key. But A-Rod, I'll let you get to who do you like for those 2 games?
Oh, I have England. England will beat Senegal. I gotta go with that one. But U.S. versus the Netherlands, I think is gonna be tough because, yeah, we're saying I agree with you. Like they've looked very unimpressive, but only one team in the World Cup hasn't let up or has given up 0 goals, and that's Brazil. And only a few teams, I think it's like 5, have given up 1. Us being 1, have only given up 1 goal. And I think Morocco, like you said, was 1. And
it was an own goal. It was such bullshit.
You're gonna have zero goals in open play, though. 0 goals in open play.
And the Netherlands too is another team that's only allowed 1 goal this entire World Cup. Yeah, we're expected to see them, go out there and slaughter everybody because of the old days with all the players used to have. But they're still a good team, man. And the one thing that you said about Memphis Depay, I think the same thing as well. I think he's, coming off the bench. That's weird to see him, but he's definitely got some kind of nagging injury there. I hate seeing him at Barcelona, so whatever. I don't care.
He's going back to United though.
Oh, he is?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm okay with that then. But I think it's going to be a big wake-up call for the U.S. here. I think they played their ass off against England. They're going to have to do that as well. And of course, I'm pulling for them to win. And I'm riding the Vic bandwagon with this too. Like I'm picking the U.S. to win it.
I think England's better than Netherlands. That's why I think this is going to be an easier match.
100%. 100%.
It is, but we see England a lot, man. And these guys
we don't. This is the first time I played England in 6 years, something like that. And we played Netherlands. We've played Netherlands just as many times as we played England. Here's my case, A-Rod, I'm going to make to you. So, like Sammy said, we have the speed, especially on the outside. Other than Virgil van Dijk, I don't think Jeremy Frimpong is playing this match.
Well, and I don't think that they have great.
Yeah, but I don't think they have the speed to match our speed on the outside.
Just Ake.
Is my thing.
Even VVD is not that fast.
And I may be cocky here. I may be being cocky, and you are the voice of reason right now, A-Rod. Just so you know, you were saying what you should say. I honestly don't think that there's a team in this tournament that scares the United States right now. After what they
get out of here,
after what they did to England.
You're high, bro.
France would dice USA. Brazil would dice USA.
Okay. I said I don't think there's a team that scares. I didn't say that there's not a team that wouldn't beat them.
Okay.
I think there's not a team that scares them. They're not scared to go in this match against the Netherlands. They think that they can play. They think that they can play with the Netherlands, just like they can play with everybody.
I agree with everything you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. This game is going to come down to coaching. I think the players are doing a great job, but it's going to come down to coach. And we say it every time when we're talking to each other: the substitutions you're going to make. I swear to God, if you need offensive firepower and you need strikers and you're putting in more defensive guys, like, come on, man. And if I see Shaq Moore in this game, I swear. If I see Shaq Moore in this game, man.
Or Jordan Morris. If we need a goal and fucking Jordan Morris comes off the bench, then I'm going to flip out.
Oh, my God, man.
You can't let this game go to penalties. You cannot let this game go to penalties.
Cannot. That's going to be where
the Netherlands scares the U.S., and that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think that they're afraid of them. They're not intimidated by them. They hung with England. That made them feel good. I think that we have a chance against the Netherlands. I think that we come out on top, in my opinion.
You held against a team that scored 9 goals, and you're playing against a team that only scored 5.
Against shitty competition.
Against probably arguably worse competition. Not as much Senegal, maybe slightly Ecuador, but
definitely Qatar.
Qatar for sure, right? For sure. So, yeah, I don't think it's out of the question that the United States can hang in this game. But all right, moving on to Group C. Argentina, despite losing the first game to Saudi Arabia. Where's Messi? Moving on, bitch. Moving on, bitch. But, big ups to Saudi Arabia. They surprised everybody with that victory over Argentina in the first game. Argentina moves on with 6 points. Poland pulls it out because Mexico had too many yellow cards, which is the craziest thing to me. I didn't know why. Like, when I saw everything,
that shit was wild.
I had no idea why Mexico wasn't moving on. I was like, how do you even decide that? And then I had to Google it. I was talking to my buddy Christian on the phone. He's like, dude, What's like the third or fourth tiebreaker? I was like, I've never seen a third or fourth tiebreaker.
It's fair. It's called the fair play rule, and it's based on how many yellow cards that you have. And now it's a good thing that they ended up not going out on that. They ended up going out on goal differential.
Right.
They lost in goal differential to Poland, but
because of the last goal at the end. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, it sucks. Sucks for Mexican fans. If they would have went out on the yellow cards, it would have been even more ridiculous. I would have thought it would have been goals for would have been the tiebreaker, right?
That's is. But they were.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. No, so
it's goal differential,
right?
And then fair play rule.
No, it's goal differential, then goals forced, then yellow cards.
No.
Yes, I looked it up yesterday.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. Look at. All right, so. Oh yeah, okay, you might have been right. No, because they have the same. They have the same amount of goals for.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
But they didn't at the time though.
Yes, they did. Because they scored the second goal.
Yeah, it's because they scored the second goal.
The free kick, and then once Saudi Arabia scored the goal, then it was over.
Yes.
So
anyway, it doesn't matter. They're out.
So Messi had a little scare. Played extremely well in that second game against Mexico. Wasn't so great, I didn't think, against Poland, but everybody else stepped up, which was a huge surprise to me. I'm worried about Argentina. I am worried about Argentina. I think one of the biggest things that I notice is they miss Lo Celso so bad. I know it's crazy to say, but when you don't have your integral part of your midfield, again, I know I'm going to say this a lot, when you don't have that centerpiece to your midfield, it's going to force Messi to have to do a lot more that he's not used to or can't really do anymore. And he's never been the type of player to go that far back. So you have Paredes, who plays a defensive midfielder really well, but he also doesn't supply an attack as well. And that's what Lo Celso was, that buffer between Messi and Paredes. And they don't have a guy there. DePaul can't really do it. His touch looks really bad. He's more of a winger anyway. So I think what Scaloni will have to do is probably find a way to switch the formation around. Di Maria's been absolutely great. That dude just doesn't age, and he just also always looks awesome.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Argentina. I know you're worried, but they're on an easy side of the bracket. I believe that they are they are probably going to end up facing Brazil in the semis. Is that right? I believe Brazil's on their side of the bracket.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Possibly, but yeah, I think they're going to be first anyway. So yeah,
dude, they're definitely going to win Group G. I mean, come on. So it would be Brazil on their side of the bracket, and they'd probably meet
in the
semifinals. So I think that's to their advantage. But they definitely have the easiest. No offense to Australia, they have the easiest first opponent in these knockout stages. So that could be their benefit as well. So
right.
Happy for Argentinian fans everywhere, and Messi fans. I am a Ronaldo fan, so I don't really give a fuck about Messi. But I respect his greatness, and we'll see what happens with France and Poland. I think we all know that France is going to demolish Poland. But who's excited for England-France in the quarters? That's going to be great.
Yeah. So, yeah, big shout out to Robert Lewandowski. Finally scores a goal. He was one of the few legends who never scored a goal in a World Cup. Got his goal. You saw the tears. I almost cried, as like a big soccer fan. I'm like, oh my God, like he finally got it. That's all he's ever wanted. And they move on, and he even cried again because that was the first time in 40 or 50 years or something, Poland made it to the round of 16. So happy for him. I'm really happy for Poland. But they have a large mountain to climb. After watching a lot of their games, it's tough to watch. Honestly, it's a one-man show. But
we have to talk, and I think we have to talk about the other side, or the southern part of our continent, and talk about Mexico and their fall from grace here. This is the first time that they've been knocked out, I believe, in the last 7 World Cups, something like that, before the knockout stages. Something ridiculous. Is Mexican soccer in trouble?
Big time.
Yeah.
Absolutely big time. I think going in, there was a lot of rumors about the coach on the hot seat. There was a lot of, heat on the Mexican national team, the federation as a whole, just because of the lack of ability. And this is, I was looking a lot of this stuff up, the lack of ability for Mexico to beat Canada and the USA in home and aways. They weren't able to do it in group play, in the qualifiers. And it was, no disrespect to the U.S. men's national team, but obviously as Mexicans, they expect to be the leaders of CONCACAF, as they should, right? Historically. But, there's a new leader in town in CONCACAF, as the men in blazers like to call it. I thought that was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, A-Rod, what did you think about this group? What are your thoughts on, Mexico going forward? Or even are you worried about Argentina?
Yeah, so out the gates, Argentina, I was kind of scared in the beginning. I was like, these guys, you lose to Saudi Arabia. That's like Qatar beating them almost type of thing, man. Like, come on, man.
Not as much. I mean, yes, but no.
You shouldn't be losing to Saudi Arabia,
right,
okay?
Right.
I mean at that scale, not talent that Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia slaughtered Qatar too, but that's a game you don't lose right there. That should have been an easy win for you. I would expect them to struggle more against Mexico and Poland, but they picked up speed right after that and started, doing what they do. Messi definitely was invisible the first game. Second game, he stood out, and then he missed the penalty kick, which everybody who's a Ronaldo fan was, going up in arms about.
Can we give credit to Chesney too, though? Like, that was a tremendous save. I mean,
that was
his second of the tournament.
He's a good. Like you said, Juventus isn't letting that guy go.
I mean, he's been on Juventus. He came right after Buffon. Like, it's not like he's a trash goalkeeper,
Yeah. And to something Linder actually said to me, just to circle back to Mexico, he says that all the good young Mexican players are coming to play in the United States. And a little of that is true. A little of that is untrue. So a lot of them are going to camps in the U.S., but I would say that the majority of our talent has come homegrown. And the few dual nats that we do have right now are actually dual nationals from England and dual nationals from European countries. So that's a surprising trend in European soccer. And the one coach to really open up the U.S. to that was Jurgen Klinsmann. So big ups to Jurgen for starting that trend.
Hey, Rod, continue. Sorry, we.
Oh no, you're good.
Have to answer the chat. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Happy to see Poland moving on. Anytime Mexico loses, I'm a happy man. Robbie Lou, that's my boy. I hate that he plays for Barcelona, but like you said, got his goal in the World Cup. You're happy to see that for him. I would have expected Mexico to make this jump, but the fact that Poland gets it is a little bit bittersweet for that, and I like seeing that. I like seeing a crazy stat where it comes down to the fourth result of why you're not going to the World Cup, and a lot of yellow cards on Mexico's side. Saudi Arabia, good first win against Argentina. Whereas Messi, he's going to the next round. So, and Mexico, man, it's hard. It's like the same thing with them every year. Like, there's always something going on. It's always like I preach about other sports. There's always something going on with Mexico, whether it's the politics behind the soccer, whether it's the coaching, whether it's having the right players on the field, whether it's not having their prize star out there. Like, there's always an issue going on with them. And you just saw the head coach is done there now, right? They got rid of the head coach.
Oh, he's gone. So, and there's there's no Rafa Marquez coming through that door, folks.
No, exactly.
There's no Chicharito coming through that door, folks.
Yeah.
Irving Lozano is not him.
There's not, and I think it sucks because Ochoa is a great goalie. He's a really good goalie, and I just think that the talent there's a lackluster amount of talent that Mexico is putting out right now, and we expect, soccer fans expect, and the world always knows Mexico as being a scrappy team, and these last couple of years, I don't really see it, man. Like you said, there's a new sheriff in the cafe table now. So
100%. And I will say that unlike a lot of United States men's national team fans, Mexico is my second team. I have uncles and aunts that are Mexican.
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 What? Mexican. I have a Mexican aunt and a Mexican uncle. But it's sad to see that they have fallen so far. They need to start. I think they just need to revamp this federation. They need to pull out the weeds and they need to start from the ground up like the United States did in '96, and just start building a new foundation there. Because right now it's not there. These players are not good. It's just the bottom line. I hate to say it. They're not good players. So I hope for the resurgence of Mexican soccer. I don't think it's coming anytime soon.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of heat in the Mexican news. We're going to hear a lot about what's going to happen with the future of the Mexican national team because, yeah, this is a huge disappointment for them. Obviously, a group that they could have easily passed through, right? I mean, yeah, Poland. I mean, I love Lewandowski, but come on, like Poland. But...
Oh, 100%. They should have made it through this group.
Yeah,
100%. And I wanted them to further our narrative of soccer going global, right? So, but now
another European team.
It is what
moving on.
Yeah.
Speaking of European teams, we have Group D. So I don't think there was any surprise who was going to win that group. Although the second place team was a tremendous surprise, and I will be here eating my crow. I've been eating my crow all week. Because I had Denmark as my dark horse team, and I had them as a dark horse team that could potentially push extremely far in the World Cup, but they did not show up despite having such a tremendous Euros in 2020 and just laying a dud, just laying a complete dud here, drawing once, losing 2 games. I mean, shit, Tunisia looked better, right? Like Tunisia looked hungry in that final game, and it just looked like Denmark just didn't want
it. This Denmark team looked like shit.
Yeah, I just I didn't understand it.
Let's get big ups to the Socceroos, huh? I mean,
yeah, a lot of credit to them. They deserve to be there. A lot of people were talking about why are they there. Australia definitely looks like they deserve to be there. Really wanted Tunisia to move on, but unfortunately they had the loss to Australia that kind of screwed them over. They beat Australia, lost to tied to Denmark.
They tied Denmark their first game,
yeah.
lost to Australia,
and then beat France. Which France they got lucky. France was already moving on, so France kind of put all their second team, and then Didier Deschamps was like, oh shit, like we actually probably should try and win this, and then put his starters in.
Yeah. Because they possibly could have ended up
in second
place in this, and then that would have been a dream draw for the for France. If anything, if I was France, I'd be like, yeah, let's. Then they would have been facing Argentina at game 1 instead of worrying about England game 2. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on Group D other than talk about the Socceroos and how impressive they are. What do you got for us, A-Rod?
Yeah, we can skip this one for me. Like France, I knew was going to be the powerhouse. Obviously, I'm a PSG fan. I'm loving Mbappe. Mbappe, you could tell, was definitely hungry out there. Got his 3 goals in the World Cup right now. Having a great time. Australia is definitely the surprise for me too. Didn't expect Tunisia to hang as much as they did.
African soccer, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect them. I expected them to be 4th, but Denmark, I mean, what a disappointment. Christian Eriksen, I mean, 1 goal from the team, like that's crazy. That's crazy to think that Denmark would be that bad. So. Big ups to Australia. I don't really pay attention to Australian soccer like that, but down under with the Kiwis or whatever they are, Kookaburras.
Oh, he can't.
He can't.
All right, so obviously we have the draw: Argentina, Australia, France, and Poland. So what's everybody choosing here? I don't really think there's arguments anywhere here.
No, it's France and Argentina coming out on top of those 2 games, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Although if Socceroos make a run, could you imagine if the Socceroos win and then the United States wins, and then both countries who call football soccer are playing each other in the quarterfinals? I mean, how amazing would that be? It would be literally the soccer bowl.
And their main sports are an oval ball?
Yeah.
That'd be
amazing. I would love that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get Argentina-U.S. quarterfinal. But we'll see.
All right, so one of the last groups that has finished up, and arguably one of the best days of soccer was today. And obviously one of the best afternoons of soccer was this afternoon at 2 p.m. I hope everybody was tuning in at 2 p.m. because things got absolutely bananas, absolutely insane. So we were looking at Germany against Costa Rica and Spain against Japan, and pretty much everybody was fighting for their lives. I mean, except Spain. I think Spain was moving on no matter what, but every other team was fighting for their lives. Perfect scenario had to happen for specific teams to move on. Germany needed Spain to win pretty much for them to move on. And Costa Rica put up a pretty big fight against Germany, where in a sense where Germany had to win, but Costa Rica was just not going down easy. And then the other side, Japan pulls the miracle, continues their Cinderella story. Somebody that Vic, or a team that Vic and I warned everybody could win the group. I didn't think they could win the group, but I knew they were moving on for 100% sure because I thought Germany was just a little too early on his team. Big credit to Musiala. Musiala is absolutely, he's going to be, he's the future. That guy is going to be a superstar for so many freaking years. But yeah, that German team is junk.
Yeah, so to your point, Sammy, I mean, actually, Spain almost lost. Spain almost got knocked out of the group. There was 4 minutes there where Spain and Germany were both out.
It was 60 seconds. It was 60 seconds.
Was it 60 seconds in between? Yeah. So there was 60 seconds where Spain was out, and it was Japan and Costa Rica through. Could you imagine the heart attack that UEFA would have had that happen? But honestly, fuck UEFA, number one. Number two, they get way too many teams in this tournament. Number three, Japan is a team I've loved since they whooped our ass in the friendlies. They were incredible. And Linder, I know you're saying that they haven't looked strong since the 40s, but this is a team that plays together with discipline. And I wonder how Linder felt when Japan was playing Germany. This is a team that felt that is to what we spoke to before, one unit, not 11 individuals. It's one team, and they legitimately play together like that. I like this Japanese team. I like the Samurai Blue. I think that they have a chance against Croatia. To be honest with you, I don't love what Croatia has done. They played easy competition. Belgium sucks. They drew Belgium. They beat Canada, who sucks, and they drew Morocco, who has looked strong, but I don't agree with. I don't think they're great. So even though Croatia has not lost in 9 matches, I like the Samurai Blue to come on top and and stop and beat Croatia.
Okay, I gotta gather myself. Yeah. Hey, Rod, what were your thoughts when you saw what happened and transpired today in that Group E matchup?
Yeah, I think Spain is the real deal still. The goal is a little bit questionable. The second one from Tanaka, I watched it because I was together furniture all day today, unfortunately. But Japan is a real deal. You got to give them credit. Like I've been saying, play selfish. There's no individual team that you're like, oh, he's the guy. But no, they obviously won the match and they win the division, or they win the group. Germany, I expected more from Germany, but very lackluster, like you said. Maybe they're just getting older. And Costa Rica is just Costa Rica, man. So
yeah, that was tough for Costa Rica, and one of the greatest goalkeepers in CONCACAF history, Keylor Navas, who was incredible this tournament again, and just unfortunate end to probably end to his international career. But
yeah, big ups to I mean, Costa Rica showed a lot of fight. I got to give them a lot of credit, and yes, credit to Japan for how strong they play as a unit, and dude, they just play like they want to win. And I think they're another team. I think you said it too, Vic, about U.S. men's national team. I think Japan is a team that they're not afraid of anyone. You know, like even though they should be, they're not afraid of anyone. And they proved it against Germany. They're like, we don't care how many stars you have. You guys don't play as a unit. We play as a unit. Play as one team. Spain again looks super, super lethal, despite losing today to Japan. I think that's still a really good team. And honestly, even if this is a Spanish team that may not push far this World Cup, I think this is a Spanish team that everybody has to be on the lookout for because holy cow, they have insane star power, and they're all like 21 years old, and it's just
9 goals too.
Yeah, 9 goals, and they only got 4 points. That's what's crazy to me.
Yeah, and to answer Linda's question in the chat, I'm not sure why they're called ticos. It has to do something with what the Spanish called them back in the day or something like that. But it's pura vida, baby, pure life.
Yeah.
Love Costa Rica, love the country, been there, great time. But it's a tough run. I don't think they just didn't have the strength.
No, they didn't, and they have some young players that are coming up. We saw a little bit of them today. As they started, a lot of those younger guys and some even younger guys came off the bench, and I'm like, oh, these kids actually look pretty good. So, a lot of confidence there for Costa Rica going forward. Germany, they need to shape up. That looked like a team of individuals, not a team that was actually a team. So, but all right, on to Group F. A lot of the pundits were, or I should say this. I was one of the few people that said, watch out for this group. And I know a lot of people looked at this group as a group of like, oh no, like Croatia and Belgium, they're going to run away with it. No, hands down. And I was one of the few people, and I listened to a few of the BBC podcasts and a lot of the radio, the radio over there in England, reading the articles. And a lot of them called this as their group of death because they're aware of the teams like Morocco, like Canada. And even though Canada didn't get a single point, I thought they were in every single game. And they suck, to be fair. Like they have a lot of growing to do. They're a young team.
Dude. They were ass.
But no, man, they work. They work. They're not technically gifted, but they work. And it's unfortunate that they rely on one player. It's another team, relies on one player. Alphonso Davies can't do it all. Despite how amazing he is, he can't do it all. But yeah, Morocco wins Group F. I did not expect them to win Group F. I expected them to move on, and Croatia was second in Group F. Croatia, another team experienced. I thought that the experience was going to catch up to them. I thought they were a little bit old. It looked like Belgium was actually the team that was old. Modric just looks like he's still good, and he's still one of the best players in the world. And everybody should apologize for bashing him for getting the golden ball because he's still doing his fucking thing. But A-Rod, we'll get to you first this time. What did you think about this Group F? How everything turned out, the upset of Belgium just looking like trash, all of it.
Belgium is disappointing, man. Number 2 coming into this, and now you're going home. So, and then like you said about Luka, everybody trashing him, but dude still does his job. He knows what to do. And Morocco, big surprise. Hakimi's my boy, you know that, big PSG fan, so I love seeing him do well. But 2 teams that I looked at, and kind of like the theme of this show has been, is like there was no selfishness there. There was no individualism on those teams, and you could see the country gelling and playing well together, not relying on one player. So obviously in Canada, they wanted everything to go through Davies. And like you said, he can't be a one-man band out there. Everybody's got to show up. And the Canada team did not look good at all. And Belgium, I got no words for it. Like I expected them to, score 1 goal too. 1 goal. Like, come on, man. Like you got to be better than that. Especially if you're considered one of the powerhouses coming into this. So big ups to Morocco for me.
This is unexplainable to have that much talent and perform like they did. Like, I don't care about age. Like, these guys are still like 30s, but I mean, just like you
There's
said it
talent.
perfectly. One goal, like
There's
They're
talent.
old. They're too old.
And
They're too old.
they're not too old. And
Croatia's old. They scored 4.
yeah, Croatia is old. And Vic, take it away because I know you got some funny things to say. So
Well, the thing is, so let's compare the two old guys, right? Luka Modric and Kevin De Bruyne. What's so funny,
I'm
Sam?
trying to keep it. I can't.
I know, I'm waiting for it.
Samurai Blue.
Yeah.
That too, but
Continue.
So Kevin De Bruyne, Luka Modric. Let's look at their position. So typically, Luka plays like a more deeper central midfielder, where he can make plays from back there. And let's be honest,
Andre Pirlo.
like a Pirlo, but it ages with fine wine back there, right? When you're an attacking midfielder, when you rely on your legs, like Kevin De Bruyne does, you become, you rely on your athleticism, and I think that's something that has gone away from De Bruyne in the years, and so that's why I think that's the difference between old. So you see the old on Croatia. It's old in all the right spots, but they still have Perisic. They have these guys that are still relatively young in the right spots. Also, Luka Modric didn't have his girl pulled from his goalkeeper, so that probably helps. It's a tough look for De Bruyne there. But yeah. So we got Morocco, Spain. We got Croatia, Japan. I like the Samurai Blue to go forward, as I said before, and I'm gonna pull for my guy here. I don't think it's gonna happen, but Morocco over Spain. Even though in the last, I believe Morocco is unbeaten. Let me check. Let me make sure my facts are right. Morocco hasn't lost in the last 8 matches. Spain just lost. It could happen.
It's the fight for the Rock of Gibraltar, baby.
Yeah. And man, 2 countries and Hakimi, who is my favorite player in Morocco, could have played for Spain, but chose to play for Morocco. So there's some 14
of the 26 players that Morocco has and it's funny that you said this about a month ago, Vic. You talked about Morocco and USA being parallel. 14 of the US or of the Moroccan players are internationals. So they were born in another country, lived in another country, but they had ties to Morocco, so they chose to play for Morocco, just like a good amount of the U.S. men's national team. So,
yes, absolutely.
Hey, Rod, who you got?
I want to go for Morocco, and I'm pulling for Morocco, but I just feel like Spain has too much firepower. But if Morocco wins, I'm super happy with it, man. Like, I will not be mad at that because, I'm happy for you. Happy for Hakimi, happy for that team. That'd be a big win for them. I just feel like Spain, after watching them that first game, yeah, exactly, man. There's a lot of firepower with Spain, and Morocco's gonna have to look right to be able to defend that firepower. But it's doable. And we've seen big teams like Belgium go out now, so anything is possible. And then Japan, Croatia, flip the coin. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Luka Modric fan, so.
God damn. Perisic is 33?
Yeah.
I thought that motherfucker was like 28.
They're old. That's an old team.
Dude, Luka's 37, man.
Oh, yeah. I knew Luka was old, but Luka was
But you said it right. They're old, but they play a role that is conducive to their age, right? Like, they don't try to play a style that, like, they have to be athletic. And you saw them struggle against Morocco because they weren't fast enough. Like,
right.
Luka tried to do a trick on Hakimi and run by him, and I was like, dude, that was 10 years ago. You can't do that anymore. Like, Hakimi's gonna blow you away.
Years ago, Hakimi is blazing fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, Rod. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just looking at Croatia's squad, and I saw Perisic was 33. I was like, damn, I thought that motherfucker was like 28.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's Sunday League out there in Croatia, so.
Sunday League TV, baby.
Yeah.
Oh well, but yeah, I have Croatia moving on, and I would pick if I had to pick, Spain is where I would pick, but I'd be happy with Morocco winning.
Oh, same. The thing is, I mean, that they're so close, Spain and Morocco. I don't know. It's just crazy. But, yeah.
I think one of the benefits that Morocco has that a lot of these other teams didn't have is we have such a strong central midfield defender. We have a Tyler Adams guy in the middle that can break up a lot of what Spain tries to do centrally. Sofian Amrabat,
relax, okay?
Sofian Amrabat, dude. Sofian Amrabat is everywhere. He's not as skilled. I'll admit this. He's not as skilled of a passer as Tyler Adams, but he plays the same type of role. You don't have a lot of other teams that can do that. And I think we're seeing a change in how soccer is played, that if you have a good back line, you have a solid 4 to 5 guys that can hold it down, you just you relieve a lot of the pressure from the rest of your midfield, the rest of your forwards, your wingers, all that good stuff. So I think Morocco has a very, very solid chance against Spain, especially after watching what Japan did today. Granted, Vic, you didn't even get to your take on the Japan goal.
Oh, yeah. Can we go back to that? Do we have the line?
I got it.
Shows the line. Okay. So I want everybody to, if you can, zoom in here. All right, if you can, and you see where that ball is. You see how that ball. You see it looks like you see green in there. Okay, this is for all my friends that don't understand how a round ball works. Okay, so if you look at the upside shot of that, if you're looking above that ball is not over the line, and which is why that is a good goal. Okay, it's all about camera angles and all about how you perceive them. And this is why I'm explaining to all my new soccer friends out there how it works. So the ball must be completely over the line, not the part touching the ball.
From the top.
The whole ball must be over the line. So when you're looking at that ball from the side, yes, it looks like it's out. But if you actually look at it from the top, it is not out. So I just want to explain that to everybody, and how that works.
Tremendous.
Yeah, there you go. There's your analysis there. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you putting that together, sir.
Yes, sir.
But another guy I want to talk to you about on your squad, Sammy, is Yusuf and Nasri. Tell me a little bit about this guy. He's a guy I've not heard of a lot. As you know, I don't watch La Liga. But a guy from Sevilla.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on him? He's only 25 years old. Is he looking at a big club transfer after this World Cup event?
I don't think so unless he does something tremendous against Spain. I think what he does and what he has provided has been some kind of like he provides a lot of pace, right? He's very fast. He runs a lot. He doesn't have the greatest control. His finishing is it's okay, right? And I think what he does for this Moroccan team is we don't have to rely on pushing 2 guys forward to press because he's quick and has the fitness to press multiple players at the same time. So that frees up a lot of players so that we can, we don't have to press 2, right? And risk, potentially getting shot over. But I think En-Nesyri's good where he's at. He plays well for Sevilla. He fits their system at Sevilla. I don't think I see him making a move. I do see potentially Sabiri moving to another club from Sampdoria. I think his free kick was tremendous. He had another free kick. Was it? Yes, in today's game, just hit the top of the wall, but it looked like that was going to be a tremendous dart going straight for the net. I thought he showed a lot in that attacking midfield position. Another younger player, but yeah.
You're talking about Sevilla?
Yeah.
Sevilla Sampdoria. He only played 22 minutes in the Belgian game, 8 in the Croatian game.
But then played
65
today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's true Regragui likes to go with pretty much most cat players. And our best, like when I was bitching about Morocco last year, I was like, why aren't we putting our best players on the field? Just put your stop playing around. Put your best players on the field. And so I think there's a couple positions, and that being that position right in front of Amrabat is kind of where he's playing a little bit with and trying to find the right guy, and in that other second striker position. So because Ziyech is going to be there, Boufal is going to be there. It's just finding those other 2 midfielders. I think Sabiri's one. So.
And I really find it interesting that that Ziyech and Christian Pulisic, both players from Chelsea, who are just stashed on the bench, have not gotten their correct minutes at the bench. Ziyech has probably had a better World Cup than Pulisic, other than Pulisic's goal. But I mean, Ziyech, in according to FootMob, his ratings have been an 8 rating against Canada, an 8.2 against Belgium, and a 6.6 against Croatia. I think that's a team best. He's been incredible this World Cup, and I think has shown that he deserves more playing time at Chelsea, as has Pulisic. Unfortunately, our arch enemy, what's his name, scored 2 goals today for Germany.
Kai Havertz.
So, Kai Havertz, thank you. Scored 2 goals for Germany, so it's probably going to push them even further down the bench. But still, great tournament for the Chelsea guys that get pushed aside. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, tremendous. All right, so we can touch on this just a little bit. Obviously, these games are tomorrow. Almost all of it looks pretty certain, at least who's going to win their group, I'd say. We got Brazil, Switzerland, Cameroon, Serbia. Cameroon fighting for their life. Brazil just looks incredible. And, okay, maybe I should say it. No, I mean, okay, I'll say it. A-Rod, I'm sorry about Richarlison.
Who?
Richarlison.
Oh.
What are you, a Tottenham fan, A-Rod? What's going on here?
That goal was absolutely incredible. I was
about it.
Oh.
I'm a big Gabi Jesus fan, and I think Gabi should be starting. But there's just so much firepower on Brazil. Like, that's another one, like, Rashford that comes off your bench. You get the firepower, and the footwork out of the kid is nasty, man. It's fucking great footwork.
I'll tell you what, Richarlison doesn't do that shit at Tottenham. That's for sure.
No, he doesn't. That's the thing. Like, we were talking, like, he's boring to watch, but this World Cup, I mean, shoot, everybody wants to look like Juntao out there and just, ball out. So that's just the move, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, let's see, what do we got for tomorrow? I think
we got Brazil, Cameroon, Switzerland, Croatia, and then Portugal, South Korea, Ghana, Uruguay. This is the last group. These are the last 2 groups to go through. This is technically the last day of group play tomorrow. So 10 a.m. I believe it's the 10 a.m. games is Group G, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What's 1400? No, I'm sorry. I take that back. Group
H
is the 10 a.m. games.
Yep.
Group G are the 2 o'clock games.
Yeah.
So I like. Are we doing the I likes here?
Yeah.
I want chaos. All right. I want Brazil to tank like France did and lose to Cameroon, and Switzerland to tie Serbia.
That would be incredible.
That would mean
Cameroon moves on because of the goals.
Because of the goals for correct. So I would love another African team here. I actually in Group H would love Uruguay to beat Ghana because I put a good amount of money on Beans on Uruguay to win the World Cup. Thanks to my friend Sami who misled me and I shouldn't have listened to him. But we still have a chance to make it out of the group. Uruguay to beat Ghana and South Korea to tie Portugal. And then that would mean that Uruguay is through.
A-Rod,
sound off on your boy. How you liking Portugal?
I love him, man. Cristiano Ronaldo is balling, man.
Another team I put some beans on.
I expect Brazil to. Obviously, Brazil's moving forward. So out of the other ones, I wouldn't mind the chaos there to happen, though. I'd love to see Cameroon get through. But I think Switzerland's going to come out on top and beat Serbia. Serbia just looks really, not there. I don't know.
They're not there yet. That's a young team.
Yeah, exactly. There's opportunity.
Their average height is 6'1".
Oh, yeah.
That's
they're tall,
crazy.
man. They're freaking tall. That's why I was telling him. I was like, why aren't these players in the game? He's like, definitely height advantage right there.
That's why Charleston had to play, because it was like, you can't put Jesus against these 6'3", 6'4" defenders.
You have him and Neymar out there, which are both 5'9", and Anthony too is like 5'8", so it'd be tiny motherfuckers out there. Portugal's definitely moving on. I'd really like to see Ghana move through.
Me
I want to
too.
see that happen. Uruguay just been really, really big disappointment. They look like they don't know how to manage that team. Like they don't know who to
full
start.
of talent, right? It's full of talent. They have so many good players on that team. It looks like, and they're young too, so it just looks like that coach, whoever that coach is, just doesn't know how to function.
Yeah, and even at that, like Cavani, when they pulled him out of the game last one, he didn't even know he was coming out. He was out there. He's like, "I'm coming out." He's like, "Oh, okay." So it doesn't like there's like any chemistry there. Like I feel like the players do, but I think it comes from the head coach. Definitely.
I love that you guys are calling out the coach right now. Diego Alonso is his name. Can you tell me what team he coached before Uruguay without looking up? Do not look it up.
Mexico.
A-Rod?
Well, in Mexico too.
Tell me what league you think he coached in. Before
Spanish
coaching.
league.
What's that?
Spanish league.
Sammy?
I was gonna say La Liga as well.
Okay, you're both wrong. He coached in the MLS and he coached Inter Miami.
That's right. I remember hearing them say that too.
Right, and before that, you guys were right. He came from the Mexican League, coaching Monterrey and Pachuca before that. So
Pachuca.
Pachuca before that. So Monterrey and Pachuca.
That explains why he's so bad.
And Inter Miami. Yeah, guys. And you know who else has an MLS coach in this World Cup? The fucking United States. And Greg Berhalter coached Columbus Crew.
Yeah.
Before he coached the United States men's national team. Almost a pick. But yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think Uruguay is a talented team. I kind of feel like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Sammy, you're more in touch with CONMEBOL than I am, that this is a team that is also somewhat older, minus Darwin Nunez. But in terms of their upfront players, Luis Suarez, Edison Cavani, those are guys that are on their last legs here. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, they're in a little bit. They're similar to Germany, where they're in a changing of the guard, right? Because you got players like Federico, you got players like Betancourt who are younger, right? And you have kind of some of the other players like Godin, Suarez, Cavani who are on the outside. So they're kind of in a little bit of a change in the guard, changing of that, that team. So I, like you mentioned, Nunez is super young as well. I think they have a good core going forward. It's just how are they going to supplement those players? And the fact that they're coming into this World Cup in a little bit of a funk, and then they have this core of like 4 to 5 guys that are going to probably be around for a while, that's good for them going forward. So yeah, it's very big disappointment in my opinion from Uruguay. So I had them going to the semis. So
is that fun fact for you? I don't believe that they've scored in the last in their last 2 matches. So at least get on the board here.
Yeah. And Ghana looks good. Ghana looks good. Ghana gave Portugal a scare. I mean, obviously Ghana ended up beating South Korea. So, I mean, Ghana's hungry. Ghana is hungry. I think that's going to be the 3rd team that's going to make it into the round of 16 from Africa, which is awesome. We love that. We love to see it. I want to see 4. I wanted to see 5. I wanted to see all 5 of the nations make it. Tunisia just couldn't do it. Got put in a tough group. Cameroon has an opportunity tomorrow. Would love to see that as well. They're a team, again, that I had mentioned in our preview show as a team that I thought played as a cohesive unit. I think they're surprising a lot of people. And I think, to your point, Vic, I think we're going to see it tomorrow. I think they're going to throw it all out there, and I think Brazil's going to not want to risk it. Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? They control where they're going. So, and they're probably looking at it like, I mean, if they're second, they got to potentially play Portugal.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be kind of a shitty matchup, though. That would suck to have them play each other in the round of 16.
There's not a chance that they finish second in that group because they have so many goals. Their goal differential is 3. So, and I believe Cameroon's is -1 right now.
Yep.
So they would need to thrash Brazil, which I doubt is happening, for Brazil to not make it.
Yeah. Unless Switzerland thrashes Serbia.
Yes, but that's very doubtful.
Yeah. I hope Serbia wins. I want it to just be chaos.
Yeah. So you're saying so they're 8. That's Group H, right?
Yeah. G.
That's Group G. Okay, so they have first Group G, 2H. Who would be 2H?
Portugal or Ghana.
Right, but Portugal has 2 wins. There's no way that they're gonna
go second.
Fall. They're not gonna get second. So they would play Ghana, right? If Brazil would play Ghana next round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's a good matchup too. I would love that match.
Yeah. But all right, anything else you guys want to touch on with regards to the World Cup and what we've seen so far? Kind of sum everything up. A-Rod, anything you want?
Brazil's a real deal. France is a real deal. Cristiano Ronaldo does not age. Don't sleep on Messi, and USA is going to beat the Netherlands.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I will say that one of my favorite things about this World Cup has been our group chat. So I'm excited to keep that going. And just excited for Saturday. What are you guys doing Saturday morning, by the way?
Watching this game,
yeah,
boys.
Are we going over to your house, Vic?
Hey, you guys are more than welcome to. 100%. I'll have the beers.
Play golf after?
Oh, even better.
Pork missiles.
Pork missiles.
Pork missiles all day.
But yeah, I hope everybody has been tuning in to the World Cup. It's been absolutely incredible. So much chaos. And obviously everybody tuning in, all of our friends and stuff like that from the U.S. Tune in. U.S. is looking great. They have a great chance to show the world that they are the real deal in soccer this year and for the coming years. Also, watch out for Morocco. The Cinderella story will continue. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Morocco and Japan just shocking the world. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, tomorrow's going to be the potential to have a lot of craziness because you got a lot of teams on the line. And if it's anything like the last couple days, it's going to be awesome. But that being said, A-Rod, thank you so much for coming on, man. I think you are currently frozen right now. So let me see if I can refresh you. But regardless, give your little sound off. Now's your time.
Yeah, sorry for my frozen face right there, but
I thought he was just looking at his phone the whole time.
No, he's frozen.
It's like, yeah, no, definitely not. Every time I get to come on, I'm always appreciative to have you guys be on here with you guys and speak sports, and always pleasure having you on my podcast as well. As you guys introed me before, I am Alex Rodriguez, half of the Fair Weather podcast that I have with my co-host KK. We record on Wednesdays, release on Thursdays. All sports talk just like these guys. We get into the nitty-gritty of the big 3 American sports, but we also cover other sports as well and talk our shit, and kind of like barbershop talk on our podcast is what it is. And you can find us on Twitter at Fair_Weather_Pod. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at the Fair Weather Podcast. And where you subscribe or listen to podcasts, you can get our audio there as well. So that's my little shout out for me.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, as always, A-Rod. Vic, any last words?
No, just thanks to A-Rod and thanks to my wonderful host here. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We hope we gave you so much information. I know I see a lot more people coming in here because they want to learn a lot about soccer, and that's incredible. And the fact that they chose us to listen to about soccer, U.S. men's national team, Morocco, Spain, all these teams that are doing great things in the World Cup. It is a pleasure of ours. We are honored that you chose us for your listening pleasure. So with that being said, I'm Sammy alongside Vic. Oh, first of all, like and subscribe to the video.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Like and
There's
subscribe
a
to the
parrot
video.
in the background.
There's a parrot.
Yeah,
I have a parrot. Like and subscribe. Also, check us out at Townie Sports Pod on TikTok and Townie_sports. Samurai Brew are going to win. So that being said, I'm Sammy alongside Vic and, of course, A-Rod coming on to join us. We are Townie Sports. We'll see you guys next week.
Swag so mean, swagger on 100. We keep it real, dog. Nah, we ain't never fronted. You know my whole cap G clan stay blunted. My toes stay bruised cause I'm running to the money. Swag so mean, swagger on 100. We keep it real, dog. Nah, we ain't never fronted. You know my whole cap G clan stay blunted.